Dr. Mark Zandi. Mr. Zandi is Chief Economist and co-founder of Moody'sEconomy.com in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Dr. Zandi received his PhD at the University of Pennsylvania. At Moody's, he directs the company's research and consulting activities. Moody'sEconomy.com is an independent subsidiary of the Moody's Corporation and a leading provider of economic research and consulting services. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairwoman. Thank you, Committee, for the opportunity to be here today. Let me just say that these are my personal remarks and are not representative of the Moody's Corporation. I have strong support for the idea that we need a second fiscal stimulus plan. I think that's a very laudable idea and is much needed in today's economy. I think the plan should be timely so that the stimulus gets to the economy by early 2009. I think it needs to be targeted to lower income, middle income households that will spend the money quickly, and to small businesses that will use the money quickly to support hiring and investment for their activities, and that it should be temporary. It should not lift the long-term federal budget deficit. That's a very significant problem that we're going to face in coming years, and we don't need to add to that problem. So timely, targeted, and temporary. I think those are the key criteria. I support the plan for the idea for a second stimulus plan for three reasons. Reason number one, the economy is still very weak. We've lost over 400,000 jobs since the beginning of the year. The job losses are very broad-based across lots of different industries. It's not just housing. It's not just manufacturing, vehicle manufacturing. It's retail, it's financial services, it's information services, it's professional services. In fact, there's only two industries that are adding to payrolls in a consistent way, and that's healthcare and educational services. That's it. The job losses are broad-based across the country. In my view, 19 states are now in recession. Ohio is one of those states, California, Arizona, Nevada, Michigan, Rhode Island. They're all over the country. And there are many other states that are very close to recession and probably will be in recession before this is all said and done. The problems the economy faces are persistent. They're not going away quickly. The housing downturn is in full swing. Price declines will continue through this time next year, even under the best-case scenario. The problems in the financial system are well entrenched. The banking system is writing down problem loans, and that will continue for the foreseeable future. And the high energy food costs are a significant drain on the economy that aren't going to go away. So I think the economy's problems are persistent. Second reason for my support is that the benefits from the first stimulus package are fading. The tax rebate, which was the principal element of the first stimulus package, about $100 billion, that has lifted retailing activity in April, March, and June. Talking to retailing clients that I have, they already are seeing retail sales are falling off quite dramatically in the month of July. So it's already, we're seeing it fall off very rapidly. And the investment tax benefits, they are, of course, expire at the end of the year. And what they've done is push, in a modest way, they've pushed investment forward into this year, stealing away from investment for next year. So if those investment tax benefits are not extended, then there will be a payback in early 2009 with less investment by businesses. So the stimulus is going from a plus, and it will be a negative later this year and into 2009. So a second reason for support. Third reason for support is monetary policy can't help. The federal funds rate target is 2%. It's not going to go any lower. There's concerns about inflation. I don't think that means the Federal Reserve needs or will tighten monetary policy soon. But what it surely means is that there's not going to be any further easing in policy. Interest rates are not going any lower, so we can't count on that. So if policymakers are going to stimulate the economy, it's got to be Congress and the administration. It has to be fiscal stimulus. So those are the three reasons for support. What should the plan look like? I think it probably should be $50 to $100 billion. $50 to $100 billion would be equal to the difference between what economists think is going to happen next year and what the economy should grow in a normal, well-functioning environment. The difference between what think growth will be and what economists call potential growth. That growth necessary to maintain a stable rate of unemployment. Most economists, including myself, believe that unemployment will rise into 2009 if the economy doesn't experience stronger growth. In fact, just the consensus view on unemployment, the unemployment rate today is 5.5%. Most economists think it will be between 6 and 6.5% by the spring, summer of 2009. And of course, that understates the stress in the job market. Many people are being pushed from full-time to part-time employment. They're still working but losing overtime hours, so there's a lot of other stress. So that $50 to $100 billion, I think, would go a long way to filling that gap. And if economists are wrong and the economy turns out to be better, that's not a real problem. We have a 5.5% unemployment rate. We could use a little bit of extra growth anyway to bring that unemployment rate down back to where most economists would think is full employment, which is below 5%. So I don't think there's much downside to being wrong. It would be nice if we were wrong. In terms of what should be in the plan, I'm just going to throw out some ideas, all of which are more or less good, some better than others, but it depends on circumstances. I think extending the food stamp program would be a great idea. You can implement that quickly. You can have it out there in 60 days. All research shows that people spend that within 30 days after that. These are going to help people that are struggling, low-income households that are struggling with these high food costs. It's killing them, and I think that would be very helpful, very efficacious kind of policy. I think a gas tax holiday is a good idea. I think that would help people who are struggling, low-income households that are struggling to get to work, driving long distances, and any help they can get in terms of tax relief there, I think, would be helpful. Those are for consumers. For businesses, I would extend the investment tax benefits for another year. I don't think the cost to Treasury is very significant, and I think that would be at least take away that drag that will be on the economy in 2009, particularly for small businesses that will face higher costs because of that. Here's a little bit of a stretch, but I think a payroll tax holiday would be a very good idea. It would go to low-income households, people who don't pay income tax but work and pay payroll tax, and to small businesses because that'll be a cash infusion to them that they can use to hold on to their workers and to their and hold on to investment. So those are for businesses. For government, aid to state and local governments would be very important. A very good piece in the Journal today about the size of the fiscal problems states are facing. They're going to cut back on Medicaid and other infrastructure. That would be very beneficial to get them some help to forestall some of those cuts. And finally, infrastructure spending. The only caveat there is you got to figure out how to cut the checks quickly. If you can't, then it's not worth it. Criteria number one is timeliness. If it's not timely, it's not stimulus, it's counterproductive. So if you can marry stimulus with infrastructure, that's great, but you got to figure out how to execute. That's very important. With that, I'll stop. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Zandi. And now I will